an Unspoiled Network podcast.
This is Some Spoiled, A Song of Ice and Fire 2, the co-host switcheroo, the rereading Return to Westeros, HBO spoiler edition, uncut, uncensored, and yada yada yada. In this episode, we're covering A Dance with Dragons, chapters 38 and 39, The Watcher and Jon. In these chapters, well, we have two different rulers, and both of them have people who are like, I can't fucking deal with how bad you are at running shit. But one of them seems to end things with having convinced, and the other doesn't at all. Welcome to Unspoiled.
Monsters are dangerous, and just now, kings are dying like flies.
I am the king!
Fuck the king.
Welcome to the show, everyone. I am Natasha.
I'm Rashawn.
Yeah, so what did you feel about these chapters? Because we've got some different stuff happening here. Very, very different from the show, finally.
Yeah, I really liked both of these chapters, actually. I'm just going to come out and say. I really enjoyed The Watcher. We hadn't been in Doran in a little bit. Mm-hmm. And I loved actually being back in Doran, but getting the POV from Hota, because he doesn't have a lot of commentary.
No, he does not.
So it's really just like watching a scene, which is kind of a nice change, you know? Mm-hmm. It's just like, and it's a really... aptly, I just realized the fucking chapter is called The Watcher. Like, oh, what an astute observation, Rashawn. Jesus fucking Christ. But you guys know what I mean.
We're not on the top of our game, COVID brain. And when I say this, guys, it's referring to a conversation with Rashawn earlier. Not that I'm saying we have COVID right now.
No, we do not.
COVID, I have been like researching, and it has proven to do a lot of things to your fucking brain.
Yeah.
So
much more than they
said. Really so much more. It's scary how underinformed we have all been about it.
It's true. It's true. I to this day, knock on wood, have never tested positive, and to my knowledge, I've never had COVID. I haven't had anything that comes close to the symptoms that everybody talks about when they experienced it themselves. Mm-hmm. I don't know how long I'll be able to duck and dodge this bitch, because people are just, you know, it's not going away. It's not going away.
It sure isn't.
And the more we are learning about it, the scarier it is, and the more seriously we should have taken it.
Yeah.
But yes, this chapter, there's so much happening in this first chapter. The skull is finally here.
Mm-hmm. This fucking skull. The one thing I'll say that I really do like that Ario Hota does have some commentary on is like the food being real spicy and stuff later. And he's just like, oh yeah, man, I get it. Like, he's okay now, but there was a time where he was like, Jesus Christ.
His whole assessment, his look up and down of Sir Balin Swan, I really enjoyed all of that.
Agreed.
You know, just like checking him out, seeing what kind of man he is, seeing how the man reacts to what's her name, Ariana? Is it Ariane?
Ariane, yeah.
Ariane. And being like, oh, this one is not like the other knight. You know, this one's a full-grown man. The other one was grown, but was still very much, you know, a boy. And he's not falling for her charms. And then the thing about the food that you mentioned. And then there's a moment where he's looking him up and down. He's like, all right, this guy, I wouldn't be able to kill him as easy as I did the last guy. But I could still fucking take him. You know, I might break the tiniest of sweats, right?
that is the vibe. It's like, oh, this one might be effort,
right?
But, only slightly.
Like, this one's not going to die as easy as the other one. I mean, he's still going to die though,
for sure, without question.
So I enjoyed that tremendously. I really did.
So yeah, it starts off with this chest that the very first line is, "Let us look upon this head." So we know what's in it.
I guess we did, bitch. I was like, what's in the chest?
We know there's a head in it, but like, did you really not?
No, I'm just
put
joking.
It together? Okay,
no. But it was a slim moment because it is. Let us look upon his head, and then like the guy is looking at immediately it goes to describing the chest. But the way the first line is read, if you're not really paying attention, there's a moment where you're just like, oh, who are they talking about? Like, you know what I mean? It was like a split second disconnect. And then I was like, oh, right. Okay. I see what's going on here.
So we have Maester Calliot, I think is how you say his name. It says, the round little man looked splendid in his new robes with their broad bands of dun and butternut and narrow stripes of red. And I want to know why he has new robes. Mm-hmm. I feel like this being mentioned means something.
Yeah, it definitely
I don't know what.
I was thinking the same thing. Like, why does he have new robes? And then the detailed description we get of it. But I didn't understand if there was a point being made or not. And I was actually going to ask about that. I wasn't sure if I was going to get an answer.
As in the dark as you on this one. There's possibly an explanation that I have just forgotten. But if so, I have forgotten it. So,
like, is he just a new maester? Or no, he's been the maester.
It seems like he has been.
Right?
Yeah.
We'll have to check Austin's notes.
I'm looking at him, and I do not see a mention of this. So
either there's nothing there, or whatever's there is so obvious he didn't think we would need help. Which is his mistake.
Or there's something there that we like nobody knows yet.
Oh, okay.
And we're just sort of noticing a thing, but it won't be revealed until the next book.
Oh my
God.
Who knows? I love the next book.
Shut up. We're not doing that now. So they open the chest, and here's the skull. And it's way bigger than the usual human skull.
Yeah. It would have to be.
And there is a moment where the prince says, the mountain rides no more. And I love this. Was his dying long and hard, Sir Balin? Asked Tyene Sand in the tone a maiden might use to ask if her gown was pretty. I just love the creepiness of Tyene. There is just something about her that is so just unsettling.
She is like
so much they had done this right in the show.
Yeah, when I was reading this chapter especially, and we've talked about this the first time they introduced the sand snakes, but this chapter especially, when we get such wonderful descriptions of each girl, how differently she moves and dresses and presents herself, and her manner of speaking, but they're each not to be fucked with in their own way.
Yes,
and
very much so.
And like we talked about before, they just basically made all the sand snakes the one sand snake from the book. I forget what but the one the one that's at this fucking skull reveal, and she's like not even dressed up. She's like in pants and shit. Like they just made all of them her. But yeah, and there's a description later about Tyene where it says something about she says something crazy, but she has this very like girlish, playful giggle.
Yes.
While she's talking, she's like one of those creepy ass dolls that are like murder dolls.
Exactly.
She's a murder doll.
Yeah, this whole thing, there's another moment where Lady Nim is asking, like, does it bother you that you could hear him screaming? And it says she wore a gown of yellow silk so sheer and fine that the candles shone right through it to reveal the spun gold and jewels beneath. So immodest was her garb that the white knight seemed uncomfortable looking at her. But Hota approved. Nymeria was least dangerous when she was nearly naked. Elsewise, she was sure to have a dozen blades concealed about her person.
I love that.
And I really thought for a second it was going to be like, he approved. She looked fine as hell. And no, it's a totally practical reason. I can't believe that I didn't know that immediately. Like, I should have realized that he has... It's not that he doesn't, like, see that a woman is beautiful, but it's just like, he sees that and that goes into the she is beautiful database in his mind, and then he's like, and back to work. Like, right. I don't know how he compartmentalizes like that, but he does.
I love the description of Tyene. It's right after that where it says that she's wearing a cream and green gown with long sleeves, so modest and innocent that any man who looked at her might think her the most chaste of maids. Hoda knew better. Her soft, pale hands were as deadly as Obara's calloused ones, if not more so.
Yes.
Obara, that's the sister that wears they all kind of modeled them after on the show. Because she's the one that is just like no nonsense.
The most boring one.
A little
and
bit,
they made
right?
them all like her. Like, you know what? I know that I have probably like mentioned this before, but my theory is that the show fell into that thing where women being dangerous is like, it's so much easier to just make them more masculine.
Yes.
You know? And I think that was just like the simple way to just like, oh, we'll just make them all like bloodthirsty in this very over obvious sort of aggressive way. And, it'll be the same thing. And it's like, oh my God.
Yep. It's really a shame. I love this when Hoda's describing Tyene. The last thing he says is he watched her carefully, alert to every little flutter of her fingers. Like, you got to keep your eye on these bitches. Don't be distracted ever.
Exactly. And I'm sure being super hot means that the people are distracted a whole lot of the time. So that must work for them.
Absolutely. And what did the show give us? That ridiculous line about when they're in jail with Bronn in the cells.
Rashawn, we're not talking about that. I'm not doing it. Nope.
Are you sure?
Not doing
okay, guys. I couldn't get her to do it.
So yeah, Balin is just like, the dude was a knight of the King's Guard, or not a knight of the King's Guard, but he was a knight, and dying by poison, like, he deserved better than that. And Prince Doran is like, did he? Like, he butchered my sister and then took an infant and smashed its brains out against a wall. I don't think he did. And I hope he's burning in hell. So he's less confrontational about it and much more sort of like, well, agree to disagree.
Right. Yeah.
But, that was the way I read it.
I have to tell you, I was so relieved to get to the end of the chapter and find out that Doran has not fallen for any of this nonsense, because this when they have this toast to Tommen, I was like, oh no.
Yeah, so that's the next thing, is that blind Seneschal Ricasso, lords and ladies, let us all drink now to Tommen, the first of his name, King of the Andals, the Rhoynar, and the First Men, and the Lord of the Seven Kingdoms. And, just a reminder that, like, this is all happening, but none of the Sand Snakes are happy about it. Like, they're very, to different degrees, showing it too.
Each of them in their own kind of way is showing their displeasure. Obara just fucking leaves, she dumps her wine on the floor when everybody else drinks to the toast.
Yes. Like
Tyene is like, no thank you. Lady, the other one, Nymeria, is just like waves her hand to the wine, but Obara, like, yeah, go ahead, fill it. She lets him fill her cup, and then she like, she could have just said no thank you.
When a servant girl knelt to wipe up the spilled wine, Obara left the hall. After a moment, Princess Arianne excused herself and went out after her. But yeah, the fact that they're just overt with it, it's understandable, and in a way I respect it, but it also just looks bad for Doran.
Oh, it makes him look crazy.
Yeah.
Like it makes him look like he doesn't have any control over his people. Which I'm low key here for it also, actually. But you're right. It does not make him, and he already is struggling with the perception of being weak, right? From not just outsiders of Doran, but people in Doran as well. We find out that there are a lot of people who feel like he's not doing enough, that he didn't get proper revenge for his brother, never mind getting the, revenge for the sister from, before. And he's just sort of seen as kind of weak and ineffectual, and having the Sand Snakes be so blatant with their disdain and their contempt of not just the crew from King's Landing, but Doran, by sort of, what's the word I want to look, by, just by his acceptance of this skull as the end of this blood libel, right?
Right. Yeah.
Now we're all good, and having them be so overt with their displeasure makes him look like he is not very strong at all. And they know it. They know it. And they're kind of pushing the line a little bit, considering they just got let out of jail.
Yeah. They're acting up very freely here. So then we get, the description of the feast and everything. And there's a mention here. So the soup was made with eggs and lemons. And this caught my attention. This is of no interest probably to almost anybody, but I'm going to tell you anyway. So sorry, folks. But there is this soup that was mentioned in that book series that I was saying I really wish it were finished because I want to cover it with you so bad. And it's called avgolemono. I hope I'm saying that right. And it's a Greek soup that has the eggs whisked in, tempered very slowly to give it this thick creaminess. And it's flavored with lemon, and it has chicken, and sometimes I think it has rice or noodles in it, depending. But it is something that I had never heard of, a soup that was prepared with eggs to thicken it. I've had egg that's just dropped into it to cook very quickly in the broth. And I want to make this pretty soon. I just downloaded this recipe, and it just was oh, I think that's what he's referencing here. And then long green peppers stuffed with cheese and onions, which just straight up sounded like jalapeno peppers to me. I know that's not probably really what he meant.
Long hot.
And then a snake stew that has a venom added, a dash of it to give it a bite. Which, what? I don't think so.
I mean, it's just a dash.
I am not on board. Just let it be known. And then it says, for the sweet, each guest was served a skull of spun sugar.
Oh my God,
when the crust was broken, they found sweet custard inside and bits of plum and cherry, which I have to assume makes that custard red. I'm so sorry. And Balin Swan gets this look on his face when they're served, and Doran just ignores it. But his daughter is it's just a little joke. We're not super serious about death here. And I hope you won't be upset with us. She brushed the back of the White Knight's hand with her fingers. I hope you have enjoyed your time in Dorne. And he's just everyone's been very hospitable. And she tries to be charming about how I love swans. And he's just that's very nice.
She's all touching the brooch that's holding his little cloak on, and she's all up in his shit. Really, she's
all
just,
over him.
Eyelashes are fluttering. You know what I mean? She's just, oh, I love swans. They're so beautiful. We don't have anything as beautiful here. And he's like, you have peacocks. What are you even saying?
But they're they're kind of assholes,
right? They're vain, and I'm just well, she clearly has never met a swan.
Oh my God. Yeah, true. So Hota watching this is just like, so he's not won over by her as easily. And just thinks about how Sir Aerys was definitely like, he calls him a boy. Like, he was just immature.
Yeah.
This one is a man and wary. And he doesn't like it here. So Balin's journey had been shorter but troubling in its own way. 3 knights, 8 squires, 20 men-at-arms, and sundry grooms and servants had accompanied him from King's Landing, but once they crossed the mountains into Doran, their progress had been slowed by a round of feasts, hunts, and celebrations at every castle they chanced to pass. And now that they had reached Sunspear, neither Princess Marcella nor Sir Aerys Oakheart was on hand to greet them. The White Knight knows that something is amiss, Hota could tell, but it is more than that. Perhaps the presence of the sand snakes unnerved him. And we find out later exactly what's going on. And that evidently Balin is not on board, really. Like, he's going to do it because he has to. But he doesn't like this plan and is feeling really, really jumpy about it.
Yeah. When they're after the feast and they start talking about what they're going to do the next day, and we find out that Tommen wants, well, the story is Tommen misses his sister and wants her to come back and visit court for a short visit.
Just a little visit.
There, and then like I don't know if it's Doran or one of the sand snakes, or it's Ariane. She's like, oh, but she's, having such a good time here, and she's so fond of Trystane, and they've become inseparable. And Balin is like, oh, well, he is most welcome at court also. And Doran is like, you know what? This is good. This sounds like a good idea. The boys should meet. They'll be friends for life, and Trystane and Marcella will be wed, and they'll be brothers, and it's important that they should be friends. But I don't know if I can make that trip. Why don't we just go by sea instead? And Balin just glitches.
Oh, that's a very good way to say that. Yep, that's it. And immediately is like, oh, well, yeah, it's pirates though. Gotta be careful of that. And he's like, oh, yes, of course, the pirates. How silly of me to have forgotten the pirates.
Right.
I guess we'll have to do the thing that you say then. And we'll leave first thing in the morning. Which later on, once again, we're told, that first thing in the morning means about 1 p.m.
I love that. It was, I don't know if I don't know about like George Martin's intents with things, but this idea about the way that we're always planning to leave first thing in the morning, and then like it's going to be hours later, and this keeps coming up. It's so black. It's very black. Not that black people own the market on like being late and shit, but it is definitely something that we joke about all the time.
It was definitely a thing on my dad's side of the family, and my mother, who was raised to be very punctual, found it so offensive.
Listen, if there's one thing white people are going to do, it's be on time. White people love to be on time.
This is how you could tell I'm only partially white.
Steve's dad will be like, I'll be at your house at blah 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 o'clock. And one time, all of us were going to get our COVID shots together, actually, and me and Steve and my father-in-law, we all got appointments at the same place. This is like at the beginning of COVID when you had to like go to those big centers and shit.
Right.
And so we drove like an hour out because we couldn't get an appointment anywhere near us. And he was like, I'll pick you up at, 7 a.m. or 8 o'clock, whatever it was. He got here early. He sat in his car until exactly like 8 a.m. Exactly.
I can't. Like, that's how Sydney is. Sid shows, like, I'll be like, oh, come over at 1 o'clock. And Sid rolls up at 12:55. And I am literally still naked. Because that's how late I'm always running. And I have to like quickly get dressed as she's getting out of her car and walking to the front door. And it's like every time I know that Cindy is always early. I know this. And yet I always am like, maybe that was just a one-time thing. Maybe that's not always. No, it's always.
There is somewhere with a graph, because it's definitely science. And it's just the more melanin you have in you, the later you're going to fucking get. It's just science.
It fits really well with Doran's like whole deal too, because
absolutely.
His whole thing is, let me delay it, prevaricate, you know. And so for him in particular, it being such a dramatic, like, it makes a lot of sense.
And you know what else is great about it too is that it's sort of like aspirational on Doran's part, but he also has like a lot of physical challenges that like someone, like you would think there would be a connection made in his brain where he's just like, you know what, I don't move that fast.
Yes.
He's always like, no, first thing in the morning. Because there's just this disconnect from like the reality of the situation.
There's an episode of Frasier where he's going to go camping with Niles and his son. And he's like, every time that he says they're going to do anything, he says, we'll leave at dawn. And finally they have to be like, dude, what is with you and dawn? No, how about we leave at 10 a.m.? Can we just be fucking normal? And finally by the end of the episode, he says, we leave at dawn. And then he stops and he's like, we leave at 11:30. Thank you. So yeah, this whole thing, there's also the mention of Dorn's seat upon the small council. I'm flattered that her grace feels my counsel might be of use to her, though I wonder if I have the strength for such a journey. And that's when he mentions going by sea, but we haven't mentioned like the seat on the small council as being a factor here yet. And it sounds quite appealing. It's certainly a nice little bribe. Bribe is the wrong. What is it that you do to try and like
an
somebody?
Incentive? No,
yeah, I guess so.
Well, to trick them is a different thing. That's just bait.
Bait. That's the word. That's the one I want.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it's good bait. This is when Sir Balin mentions the water gardens that he's looking forward to seeing, and the prince tells a story about how they were built for his ancestor Daenerys.
Yeah, I love this.
She was sister to King Doran the Good, and it was her marriage that made Dorne part of the Seven Kingdoms. The whole realm knew that the girl loved Doran's bastard brother, Daemon Blackfyre, and was loved by him in turn, but the king was wise enough to see that the good of thousands must come before the desires of two, even if those two were dear to him. So she filled the water gardens with children, and at first it's hers, but then she's just like, all right, well, let's let some lords have their children, and then all the knights can let their children come. And then there's like a really particularly scorching day, and all of the like children of the servants and everything are just fucking dying. And she's like, all right, let them in also. And she notices that, when they are naked, we hear this later. He doesn't tell this part of the story to Balin, but that when the children don't have clothes on and are just playing, you can't tell who the highborn ones are. That they're all very much the same. And there was something like about that really sort of connected with her.
Yeah.
So finally, he's like, all right, well, I'm pretty tired. I think it's going to be time for us to call it a night. And there's a mention in a couple spots. His chair is just called a rolling chair. And I am so sorry, but I just kept picturing some like IKEA desk chair.
Oh no.
Like I did. It was just an automatic picture of like this black vinyl gaming chair basically. And then I had to be like, no, oh my God, it's a fucking wheelchair. Jesus Christ, Sasha.
He's around in a gaming chair. He's got a headset on.
Yes, exactly. So as he's being wheeled out, it's Obara who's wheeling him and she's going too fucking fast. And he finally has to be like, oh my God, can you please slow down? That hurts so bad. Cause she's just like, she hit a pothole.
Yeah, she's just running him over everything. And And he has to, like, they're trying to have a conversation about real shit. And he's just like, can we not do this right now? Like, are you fucking kidding me? Come on.
Yeah.
I was very disappointed in this behavior, I have to say. I was really disappointed.
From Obara?
Yeah. Like, this is not a conversation for the fucking corridor.
Yeah.
Do better, ma'am. I need you to do better.
So, yeah, she's like, I can't believe that you're going to let Tristan and Marcella go to King's Landing. And he's like, one, there's plenty of shit you don't know about. And two, do I look like a fucking idiot? And she's like, well, what are you going to do? And her sister chimes in, what he always does. Delay, obscure, prevaricate. And Princess Ariane defends him, which I feel like this is a newer development, probably.
Yeah, well, we get a nice little description of how different she is since her little plan went awry.
So they go into his solar, and she tries to help him, and he's like, I could deal with the blankets at least. But it's mentioned just how bad his legs are, and it's been about 3 years since he's been able to walk. And they talk about whether that head was even the mountain at all. And if it had been dipped in tar and preserved, we would have known for sure. But they stripped it of all its flesh. And why would they do that?
Namira is like, it would have ruined the box.
That cracked me up a little bit.
And they talk about how no one actually saw the mountain die, though.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so they're trying to figure out, well, what could Cersei be fucking thinking? And one of them is like, if she is lying to us and he's not dead, this motherfucker is 8 feet tall. If anybody sees anybody that even comes close, there's no way to keep that a secret. Like, what could she gain to take a risk this large? And that's a really good question, y'all. What could she gain?
That's a good question.
I mean, just having her daughter back seems like something that she would think is worth this. Especially if she doesn't think that you're a real threat once she gets her daughter back.
That's the thing.
So I was surprised that they were as perplexed about all this as they seem to be.
I think they really they overestimate Cersei's interest in allies. Like they're thinking that Cersei is like Tywin and understands the value of friendships with the, and like Cersei is just so sure that nobody can touch her that she'll do what the fuck she feels like doing. And they just can't conceive of that. I think a lot of us can't conceive of that because we're rule followers.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. They don't understand that Cersei just does not give a fuck about any of that. And also, she thinks she's so fucking smart that she thinks she's like 4 steps ahead of everybody anyway. Mm-hmm. So even if there are real consequences to be considered, she's not fucking considering them.
No.
Not even a little bit.
No. Those consequences
are schmonsequences.
What I was going to say was that she sees those consequences as like the worrying, like prattling of people who are less competent than she is. Mm-hmm. Anytime somebody is like, well, but you should think about this. She's just like, well, wow, I should think about that. Are you against me now? Wow, I didn't realize that you had changed sides. Okay, interesting. I'll remember that. Like, it's just an immediate fucking about face with her.
If you tell her, like, something to think about, she is just like, only a small-minded fool would be concerned with such trifling things. Exactly. So, this is when Obara is, she looks at the skull and she gives it a mocking kiss and says, this is a start. And Ilaria Sand is like, a start. Guys, everybody involved with this thing is fucking dead. Can we just call it at this point? And I like this. Ilaria is so different in the show. They have her be so bloodthirsty. She's much more like Obara in a lot of her personality. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I just really appreciate how much she's just like, Yeah,
she's lost my lover and he's gone and that's done. Can we just please?
Yeah. She even talks about like her rest of her children. She's like, so what happens when you go out to avenge and then you die? Do my younger girls have to avenge you and then they die? Who's going to avenge them? And it's just going to go and go and go. And she's pleading with them to just fucking let it end. Let it end. And their response to her, which was really, this actually like bummed me out and pissed me off a little bit. She pleads with them to just let all of this fucking go to bed. And they're like, well, what would you have us do? Just lay down our spears and smile and forget every bad thing that they did to us? Mm-hmm. And that is so disingenuous. That is not what she's saying, and you know that's not what she's saying. And granted, I know that that Skull is not really who it's supposed to be, right?
Sure,
but they don't officially know that for sure.
They do not,
right? So it just fell on deaf ears. Oh, sorry, no one is hearing what she has to say. No one is taking what she has to say seriously, and they end up just kind of mocking her.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a shame because like I totally get their point of view because whenever you're in it, your thing feels like it's worth avenging. It's your, but ultimately she's right. It's just around and around and around, and the difficulty with it is like not just your own personal desire for vengeance, but that so many people hold vengeance as something so important that if you don't seek it, you are seen as weak and somebody to be fucked with further, Mm-hmm. So it's not just about like your ego and wanting to be satisfied. It's also about like self-preservation to a point where people need to know they can't do this shit. And finding a balance there. That's the thing. Tricky.
And Obara says, right after this, she's like, well, war is going to come whether we want it or not. Mm-hmm. So everything is a mess right now. The kingdom is in disarray. This is the best time for us to do whatever it is we're going to do. This is the time is ripe. And Ilaria is like, ripe for fucking what? To make more skulls? Mm-hmm. And then she just gets frustrated and she just says goodnight and she leaves. Says goodnight to Doran. And Hota is watching. He has a lot of really good things to say about Ilaria through this. And as he keeps saying that she's a good woman. And
she's crying, but she's still strong.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. That was another one. And it says that he was sad to see her go.
Yeah. And Lady Nim says, I know she loved our father well, but it is plain she never understood him. And the prince looks at her and says, she understood more than you ever will, Nymeria. And I was like, ooh.
I was so glad that he started like talking to them for real. Mm-hmm. And calling them out a little bit. Like they don't know as much as they think they fucking know. And he said that, after she made your father happy, he also says, but in the end, she has a gentle heart and it may be worth more than pride or valor. And, but there are things that she does not know and she should not know. This war has already begun. This is what he says after she leaves the room.
So this is when Obara, she's something about how like, oh yeah, Arya made sure that war was started, and Arya gets a little offended here. And Obara is like, well, when the girl tells Balin how your captain cut Aerys Oakheart from neck to groin, and Arianne is like, wait. When who? No. He was slain by Gerald Dane. And they're all like, what? And she's like, yep, Darkstar. And he tried to kill Myrcella. And she's going to say that to Balin. And Nim is like, well, okay, that part is true. Like, that's where the injury came from. And the prince is like, it's all true. Hello? Please
right?
get on board.
Right? Can you catch up?
Doing a real like Bruce Bolton talking to Ramsey here. Can you not say that it's a lie? Just like in words out loud? That'd be great.
Oh God, that's so true.
So Obara is like, look, you guys can like make up a whole story, and she may say it now, but eventually she's going to tell what actually happened. And if he goes back and tells them, that's a wrap on that. Like we can't let him leave. Mm-hmm. And then Tyene is like, yeah, we could kill him, but then we'd have to kill everybody. And Doran is like, what the fuck?
She says we would need to kill the rest of his party, and then she goes, "Oh, that would be so messy." This bitch is unhinged.
She is not okay. And so Doran says, if you were not my brother's daughters, I would send the three of you back to your cells and keep you there until your bones were gray. And I love it. Not your hair is gray until your bones are gray. It's like, nah, hair gray still can do damage.
Right.
Nope, not enough.
And this is when he takes it back to the water garden. Mm-hmm. And it's like there were lessons there if you were fucking smart enough to see them. And they're just oh yeah, there's a bunch of naked children there. Woo! And then he talks again about Daenerys, his ancestor Daenerys, and how basically, well, she says, this is your realm. Remember them in everything that you do. That you can't tell the highborn from the low. When they're naked, they are only children, all innocent and all vulnerable. And he's like, yeah, that's what fucking happens when you start a war, you know?
Yeah.
You know, all these children, they're the ones that fucking pay the price. In the end, it's the children that pay the price. And he tells them, you know, I know what you all think of me, but I'm not blind and I'm not deaf. I know you all think I'm weak and frightened and feeble, but your father knew me better. Yeah, Oberyn was the viper, and he talks about how like he was dangerous, he was, and no man dared tread on him, and how everybody looks at Doran. I was the grass, pleasant and complacent, sweet smelling, swaying with every breeze. Who fears to walk upon the grass? But it is the grass that hides the viper from his enemies and shelters him until he strikes. Your father and I worked more closely than you know. And I was like, oh, tell him. Tell him.
I really do enjoy that analogy.
It's very, very good. And it's wonderful because, for me anyway, you know, I knew Show Oberyn and I met Oberyn in the books. And then there's this constant contrast between the two of them, right? And Doran seemingly comes up short anytime you want to compare him to Oberyn, right? Like, how could he, you know, that man was fine, he was sexy, he was fucking everything that moved, he was deadly as shit. Like, you know what I mean? There's a reason why everybody would look at him and think, oh, you should be Prince, right? And Doran, you're just kind of like, that guy, I guess he's okay. But
right,
but to get this idea that no, they worked very closely together. They understood each other's strengths and each other's weaknesses, and worked in tandem. I just love that so much. And then he says to them, you know, he's gone now. The question is, can I trust his daughters to serve me in his place? And this really kind of checks them a little bit. Each of them is a little you know, looking at him just like a little bit different. And Hoda is watching all of this happen. And he says he studied each of them in turn. And Tyene again, fucking blue-eyed, blonde, a child woman with soft hands and little giggles. She's probably the scariest of all of them.
100%. She just like gives me the heebie-jeebies. My heebies have been jeebied. So yeah, he's like, make sure that you like, are you willing to promise? Give me a vow.
Yeah, because
he says on your father's grave. And at first, Obara's like, if you weren't my uncle, and he's like, I fucking am. Now what? I just love him. He's not as aggressive as I'm making him sound, but like when it comes down to it, it's getting the same job.
It really is getting the same message across 100%. And they all end up swearing. And finally, Doran kind of relaxes because he was tight. You know, he was a little not being super aggressive, but aggressive for him, it seems, you know. Plus he's tired and he does not feel good. And he's like, all right, okay, here's what's going on. And he gives them the tea. Mm-hmm. This is all a giant ruse. I love the word ruse.
Yeah, it's a good one.
You know, not only is Tristan not meant to make it to King's Landing, but they were going to have him killed with me as a witness so that I could see with my own eyes that the outlaws attacked us. And Cersei was even going to have them screaming half man, as they attacked to make it all seem like it was Tyrion's plot.
That is such
she is
clumsy.
What is she
bullshit.
doing?
Like,
what is she doing? Like, okay, have your plan, have the outlaws, but then throwing Tyrion's name in the mix, like,
right?
So close to having a halfway plausible plan, and then she just fucking throws that in there. It's fucking Cersei.
I just every time I hear, and I love the fact that like this is some informant that's in the castle. We don't know who it is. Mm-hmm. It's not mentioned.
Nope.
And so we can like either try and guess, or it may be somebody that we don't even know. Who knows what's going on? I feel like we still are not sure where Varys has gone. And I'm just sort of like, is he the one feeding them this information? Like, what's he up to these days? He hasn't shown up in Essos.
I would love to know what the fuck is going on with Varys.
Right?
Where is he? What is he doing? What is he into right now? And I don't know if we get that in this book. Do we? Is that too much of a spoiler?
I absolutely cannot tell you.
Okay.
There's,
all right.
Yeah, there's nothing in that direction that I can even allude to.
Okay. All right. I'll let it slide this one time.
But yeah, so at this point, he's like, you know, says, oh, and Balin, he's going to see Tyrion. Nobody else will see him, but Balin will definitely have seen him. And they're like, oh, wait. Because they're all thinking, oh, Tristan is going to be a hostage forever. Mm-hmm. They never thought she's just going to straight up kill him. That had never even occurred to them as an option.
Yep. And Nymeria is like, a fucking Knight of the Kingsguard was going to do it and like be a part of this plot. Like that is like some things are supposed to be unimpeachable, right?
Yep.
You're supposed to be like, okay, a Knight of the Kingsguard, that's a whole other fucking level of, and you can't corrupt them, right? That's supposed to be like the epitome.
Yep.
And here this man is lying to them and part of a plot to kill a child. It is beyond their ability to even have imagined. I love the line that says that Hota would not have believed it was possible to shock the sand snakes. He would have been wrong.
Yep. And when Lady Nim being like, I can barely believe this. He's like, you saw the way he reacted when I was like, what if we went by ship? That would have fucked it all up. He can't have that. So they're like, well, let's fucking kill him. And he's like, guessed right. Fucking no. We're not doing that. We're going to go to the Water Gardens. He's going to hear Marcella's little tale and tell the queen. The girl will ask him to hunt down the man who hurt her. If he is the man I judge, Swan will not be able to refuse. Obara, you will lead him to the High Hermitage to beard Darkstar in his den. The time is not yet come for Doran to openly define the Iron Throne, so we must needs return Marcella to her mother, but I will not be accompanying her. That task will be yours, Nymeria. The Lannisters will not like it, no more than they liked it when I sent them Oberyn, but they dare not refuse. We need a voice in the council, an ear at court. Listen,
how good would this have been?
Listen.
On the show. Come on. That would have been so good. And then the second part of the plot, because he's going to send fucking Tyene to King's Landing as well. But because she has a little bit of history with like them reading the seven. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So he's going to send her in to get into cahoots with this new Septon and see what's going on over there, because they have gotten word that this man is not just a puppet like the other Septons were. This man is on his own agenda. So why don't you go see what that's about? And then she says in response, why not? White suits my coloring. I look so pure.
This bitch, I swear to God.
She's fucking crazy.
But yeah, like, this is the stuff I'm talking about with how disappointing the show was. There was so much potential.
Listen,
it was all right here. I have some suspicions about whether they fucking ever even read past the Red Wedding sometimes.
When we first met the Sand Snakes, and I got to, see them in the book. I was like, oh, what a fucking missed opportunity. But that was just on the characterization of them. But now we're talking about like plot point shit that would have been phenomenal to watch play out. And,
exactly.
I don't know. Like, I don't know about how the book goes. Maybe the book doesn't get more into it past this plot here. I don't know how much more of this we're going to get in this book. So maybe they were like, well, we could do that, but we don't really know how it's going to work out. So it'll just be easier if we don't. Like, I don't fucking know what kind of choices they made. Maybe you're right. Maybe they didn't read past the Red Wedding.
That's just my accusation. But let it be known that, well, no, you know what? I am accusing them. I don't think they read past the third book. I'm just going to fucking stand on that.
All right.
There it is. So he says, if certain things should come to pass, I'll send word to each of you, because things can change quickly in the Game of Thrones.
He said the line. He said
the name of the book and the TV show. So they say unbowed, unbent, unbroken in unison, and then leave. And Ariane stays. And I love when she says that they're 3 Oberons with teats, which makes him laugh out loud. And Hota's like, God damn, it has been a long time since I heard him laugh.
Yeah.
So
there is a part we mentioned it, but we didn't really talk about it. But there is a part when he's talking about how Ariane has changed.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I missed that part. Where is that?
I'm trying to find it. I feel like it's pretty early in the chapter, but I'm having trouble putting my fingers on it. But there's a whole.
I'll wrap this up while you sort of look for it. So Ariane is like, I really think I should be the one going to King's Landing. And he says, like, basically, you're my fucking heir. Like, no, I'm not risking you doing that job. That is out of the question, which I think is a very good call. And then you'll have another task. There was tidings from Lys. A great fleet has put in there to take on water. Volantine ships chiefly, carrying an army. No word as to who they are or where they might be bound. There was talk of elephants. No dragons? Elephants. Easy enough to hide a young dragon in a big cog's hold, though. Daenerys is most vulnerable at sea. So they really think this is her coming.
They really do.
Which I can't imagine how disappointed they're going to be. I mean, that is just heartbreaking. You know, like, damn.
Yeah, that's going to be a sad day. I can't find it, and I can't remember exactly, but it's basically just talking about how there's been an attitude shift since things went left for her. And that she's been a little bit more sort of attentive to her father and a little bit more, what's the word? Obedient, I guess. Like she's been, I almost want to say like she's been cowed a little bit, but like not in a negative way. But like she got her hand slapped.
Yeah.
You know, and so she's kind of calmed down with her aspirations. And also it seems like she is not as... She believes her father when he says that you're going to be the heir. Like she doesn't feel threatened anymore.
Yes, very much so. Definitely.
That has calmed down, but I don't know why I can't just find it. But anyway, that was sort of the gist, I think, of that.
So do you think Quentin will be with them? He could be or not. And then says, we'll leave for Water Gardens at first light. We may depart by midday then, Hota thought. Later, when Arianne had gone, he put down his long axe and lifted Prince Doran into his bed. Until the mountain crushed my brother's skull, no Dornishman had died in this war of the Five Kings. Is that my shame or my glory? That is not for me to say, my prince. And that is the end of the chapter.
Yeah.
So now we go to Jon. This chapter is tough because the way these men are doubting everything he does,
they're
it's
coming
just
for him.
tedious at this point. Like,
I'm ready for them to just fucking do it then. Just fucking do the thing. Come on. Like, every time I turn around, somebody is in his face telling him what a terrible job he's doing. Every choice he makes is wrong. They're undermining him at every turn. Just fucking stab him in the back already. Get this over with. And I feel like Jon is there too. Like, y'all, if y'all gonna fucking, like, I'm so terrible, just fucking get me out the way then. Just fucking stop telling me how terrible I am and just do it. Jesus Christ, I'm bored already.
Yeah, there's a real, like, I didn't want to be here. You guys know I didn't really want to be here. So, like, do you have the stomach for it or not?
Right?
What are you gonna do?
What are we doing? So it opens with him sending Val out, and I was like, "Ooh, where's she going?"
I love it when he's like, "Her horse is blind," and she's like, "Yeah, my horse can be. I'm not blind. It's fine. I can see, and I'll tell him where to go. It's not a big deal."
I love her.
Yeah, she's very. She even, like, when he's like, "Oh well, your son," and she's like, "That fucking child isn't mine," and he's like, "Yeah, you really hate that child that you sing to all the time." She's like, "I'm sick of myself." But he is very adorable, though. Okay, fine. Like, she's just she's funny.
Yeah. And this Jon is thinking a lot of things. One is that I love this too. When she's like, I am no Southern lady. I'm a woman of the free folk. I know these flowers better than all of you fucking assholes. It doesn't hold any ghosts for me. But Jon is concerned because you know what? His record for sending motherfuckers out.
Yeah.
Like, nobody has made it back yet. So there's real concern. He keeps sending people out.
And he's thinking about how, like, he told Stannis that he isn't going to let her go off and do shit. And the way it was promised, do I have your word you will keep our princess closely? And he's like, well, technically she's not a princess. And he's like, oh my God, I sound like such an asshole. Like, that's such a lame way to play this. And that's the best I can do. I'm embarrassed.
Yep. And he's just like, you know what though? Because Jon is like so goddamn noble. He's like, at the end of the day, one man's honor isn't worth more than the whole realm. So if I have to go down in history as being a fucking liar who broke his word, then so be it. Right? So fucking be it. Just add it to the list of other things I am. I'm a bastard. I'm a turncloak. All these other things. Just add it to the fucking list.
So they go out through that, like, tunnel through the wall, and they come out north. And I love it when she says the air tastes sweet, and he's like, all I taste is cold. And she's like, cold? No. It's cold when it, like, hurts to breathe. And later Dolores said, is like, it does hurt to breathe. What do you mean? Dolores said it's so much fun.
And then he says something like, but the alternative hurts even more. Like, the alternative of not breathing at all hurts more. So he'll just fucking take it.
Yes, I'd stop doing it if I could, but that hurts more. So yeah, he's like, all right, tell Tormund what I said. And she's like, oh, I'll tell him. I can't say if he will hear you, like, or if he'll heed them, but he will hear them. So I'll do my best.
And then she asks one last time, like, she says, I have a question before I go. Did you kill Jarl?
Yeah.
And he says the wall killed him. And she's like, yeah, that's what I heard, but I had to be sure. And he says, you have my word, I did not kill him. And then thinks, I might have. If things had been a little bit different, I fucking might have had to.
And I would have done it if it weren't for those meddling walls. So, yeah, you will return for the boy if for no other reason. And then Craster's son, he's no kin to me. And finally she admits he's a sweet little monster. And it turns out that's what she's like calling him, like for his milk name.
Right.
Because they don't name children until they're at least 2 years old. So I do enjoy that because my mom used to call me a little monster a lot. So
I feel like that's probably a very handy name for like lots of parents.
Likely. So let's see.
Oh, there's a bit too about Val when she says monster.
Oh, right.
She's like, I had to call him something to make sure he stays safe and warm for his mother's sake and for my sake, but also to keep him away from the red woman. She knows who he is. She sees things in her fires. And there's a little concern about, and a conversation about how much Melisandre may actually know. And Jon says, if she really knew, she would have taken the boy away from us right away. Dallas boy, not your monster. A word in the king's ear would have been the end of all of this. And Jon is like, and me too, because Stannis would have taken it for treason, so it would have been an end of me too.
Yes.
So if she knows, why would she let all this happen? And Val says it's because it suited her. Fire is a fickle thing. No one knows which way the flame will go. And I was like, that's really interesting. What if Melisandre does know? And hasn't made a move on it yet? I really don't have anything to offer other than that was just an interesting question to me. Like,
It is. So finally, she sets off.
Right. And we should mention where she's going. I don't think. Oh, no, we did. We said the message to Tormund. Okay.
To Tormund, yeah.
Sorry.
That's okay. So let's see. I don't care what she says. The air is so cold it hurts to breathe. This is going to end badly. You say that of everything. I, my lord, usually I'm right. And Mully is like, have you thought about how people are going to react to finding out that you... And Jon is like, yep.
We're going to have thoughts. People are going to have feelings.
I've thought of it plenty, my friend. I know they're going to say I'm a fucking wildling and shit. And you know what? Maybe I fucking am. I don't even know what to think about myself anymore these days. So, sure, let them.
Right. He gets back to his room, gets some food brought up, and before he could even like get comfortable eating, which he barely eats, but he's got company because here these motherfuckers come banging on his door, wanting to talk about shit. And it's what, like 3 of them?
Bowen Marsh, Othel Yarwick, and Septon Celador.
Yeah.
And Septon Celador is drunk.
Oh yeah, or
he apparently is
drunk from last night. Needs like a little this turn of phrase for hair of the dog. This
God,
in dire need of some scales from the dragon that had flamed him. Sir,
it doesn't roll off the tongue.
George Martin, calm down.
I agree. I really do. Like there was no need for that. Come on, my bruh. It felt very Harry Potter-ish to me.
Listen,
you know,
a little bit. It's a little too eager, a little too earnest, a little is trying just a smidgen too hard, just a smidgen.
So you know, everybody's got their fucking thing. He brings up, well, the work at the Night Fort. What's going on there? I have a letter from Axel Florent, who's, of course, calling himself the Queen's Hand.
Oh my God.
And she says that she's not happy and how she wants to move into her husband's seat. And Yarwick says, I mean, the place is mostly restored. It's not nice, but it's fine. She could live, at his seat, but it won't be like a proper castle.
Right. I could get it done sooner if I had more builders. John's like, you know what?
I could give you a giant who is essentially a crane,
right?
And a digging machine.
3 different heavy sets of machinery all wrapped into one person. And you're
pretty good deal.
Like, I would really rather not. I heard they eat people.
That is bigotry and slander,
that
sir.
Is giant slander.
I heard they eat people. How rude can you get?
It turns out
considering that he's a fucking vegetarian.
Right.
Ugh. Come on. And Jon is just like, yeah, I figured. We'll keep him.
We find out, too, that Jon actually really does like spending a lot of time with him because with Leathers interpreting, one has got all of these amazing stories. And Jon actually thinks about Sam and is like, God, I wish he was here to write this shit down. This is good stuff.
Yeah.
Just like a long history, learning all about his people and everything. And I like that little tidbit. It doesn't necessarily advance anything, but I just really like the idea of Jon recognizing I've got a fucking giant who like 2 years ago, I believe didn't even exist. And now I've got one in my fucking house.
Yeah.
Goddamn right, I'm going to go ask him a fucking couple questions. Like, I just love that so much. Because that's what I would do.
Yeah, definitely. This is something that's in the Sookie Stackhouse books. I love this world building because in that universe, vampires are out and everybody knows about them. There are all of these like really sought after university lectures that are like history from the mouths of people who were there.
Oh, that's amazing.
And there are like, vampires that get interviewed for like documentaries and stuff. Like it's a big deal.
Oh, that's really
how
cool.
many people are around who still remember how things actually happened and what people's personalities were really like.
That's really, the only thing they did on the show was they had to fucking Bill tell his Civil War story one time in the first season. And then there wasn't really a lot about like humans taking advantage of being able to talk to living history in that way.
Yeah.
That's really cool to hear that they do it. They really like do it up in the books. That's neat.
Yeah. It's not something that Sookie encounters herself much, but it's talked about a lot as like something that can earn vamps a lot of money if they decide that they're going to branch out in that direction.
Like, of course, right?
Everybody's willing to pay. Yeah,
absolutely. There's got to be like an insane market for something like that. Like yeah, of course, I would fucking pay.
Right.
Talk to
I'm not even that big a history buff, and I would still just be like, yes, please.
I would absolutely be into that. Like all the podcasts that I would listen to if vampires were real.
Yeah. Oh man, them as podcasters. That wasn't really a thing when she wrote those, but that would definitely be if she wrote them today. 100%. Oh my god, that'd be really funny. I love that idea.
Right?
Actually, that makes me think of no, it's not the same thing. Never mind. I was going to mention something from What We Do in the Shadows. It's a little spoilery, so I won't. But something sort of like it. Anyway, okay. So then there was the we need good men at Longbarrow, and Marsh says whore's hole. The men have started calling it. Can we just?
I wish we could. I wish we could just not. Clearly, this is just going to be a thing at every turn.
Every time. And like, all right, fine, sure. So the issue here is that he's like sending them to Longbarrow when he feels like, he being Marsh, we really should keep them here. Is it true you mean to replace Emmett with this savage Leathers as our master at arms? That's an office most oft reserved for knights or rangers at least. Leathers is savage, Jon agreed mildly. I can attest to that. I've tried him in the practice yard. He's as dangerous with a stone axe as most knights are with castle-forged steel. I grant you he's not as patient as I'd like, and some of the boys are terrified of him, but that's not all for the bad. One day they'll find themselves in a real fight, and a certain familiarity with terror will serve them well. He's a wildling. He was, until he said the words. Now he is our brother. One who can teach the boys more than swordcraft. It would not hurt them to learn a few words of the old tongue and something of the ways of the free folk. The men do not trust him. Which men? Jon might have asked. How many? But that would lead him down a road he did not mean to ride. I am sorry to hear that. Is there more? I'm so sorry, but just being like, sorrow's prayers.
Right? It was just like, yeah, I'll make a note of that.
Wow, that's a shame.
Mm-hmm. And then they start talking about Satin, and it's the fucking drunk Septon who is like, you're going to make him your steward and a squire in Talet's place. The boy's a whore, a painted catamite from the brothels, right? That's just clearly like, right. But yeah, okay, we all know what he's saying there. Mm-hmm. And Jon thinks, and you're a drunk. But he has to say once more, what he was in Old Town is none of our concern. And this goes on. And Jon finally gets pissed off. And he's like, because someone is like, how do you expect men of the Night's Watch would follow a whore in a battle? Because what happens is if you're like a steward for the commander, then you're like being prepped to be the next one to take over. And Jon finally has had it. And he's like, they followed a lot fucking worse. Because you know what? I got a couple notes about some of these goddamn guys. And let me tell you what I know. And he starts dropping some information about some of these men that are serving. And the cook at Shadow Tower was a fucking rapist who specifically liked to rape septas. And he would burn little 7-pointed stars into his flesh for each one that he did. His whole fucking arm from wrist to elbow and his calves all marked up.
Yep.
There's a dude at Eastwatch who set his father's house on fire and locked his whole fucking family inside and watched them burn to death. All 9 of them. I don't see none of y'all knocking on my door complaining about them. So what's really good? What's good here?
Yep.
Nobody
it's
has
really
shit
remarkable
to say.
Because like the issue is being a whore is less respectable than being a rapist. Which is just so, I mean, a lot of people would think that. A lot of people would, even today. And in this universe, it makes sense that this is the way they see things. But it is so stupid. Like, what do you even, and I just love, and you're a drunk. Like, I love that he's just, it's the first thing he thinks of. Cause yeah, this man is over here trying to be like, well, he's hardly suitable. And I'm like, sir, you barely got up these stairs to talk to Jon in the first place because you are so fucked up. What do you mean suitable? What do you, like, come on.
Yep.
And be fucking serious right
and
now.
like to add a little extra spice on top of it, it's not just that he was a whore, but that he was like, you know, slept with men. It was like an older men's playthings, which is even like a lower rung in their mind, you know?
Yep.
And, also, Jon didn't say nothing about making him the next Lord Commander. He just said he could make him a squire. He's quick to learn and very clever.
That's true. It's taken for granted that if he was a squire, that's what he's planning, but that's not what he said.
That's not what he said.
So,
and this kid is a little kid, and I mean, I don't know. Like, it's really, it's such, the bigotry and the fucking, like, I don't remember exactly how each of the guys that are in this room got to the wall, right? But I do know that in this day and age, people at the wall, there's not a lot of volunteers anymore.
Yeah,
right?
Definitely not.
People are getting sent there. You know, I mean, all through these books, we've talked about how they don't have enough men there and definitely don't have enough good men. They're trolling prison cells for bodies. And yet they get up there and all of a sudden they're just too fucking pure. and no one is good enough.
Yep.
Nobody else is good enough. And God forbid if you're a wildling, because then you're just not even human to a lot of these men. It's just super gross. And Jon, as this chapter moves on, he is like, I need y'all to fucking big picture, please. Mm-hmm. Why are you all not acting like we are facing the undead? I need you to like get your heads out of your ass and remember like what we're fucking up against. And then this leads into, because after he has his outburst, these men don't have shit to say, and they end up being like, I guess you know what's best, Lord Commander.
It's just, and it rings so false. Like the whole energy of it. He knows, he knows that they're, because it's mentioned like they don't say anything, but Bowen Marsh sat red-faced. He's so angry. And I just want to be like, sir, I really cannot understand. Bowen's whole job is big picture, right?
It's supposed to be.
The steward. He's checking on the supplies and how many people we have to deal with and what's coming up in the future. How are you so like obtuse about this stuff? So yeah, eventually.
Well, they ask about those fucking bodies in the cells.
Yeah. The bodies, they make the men uneasy, and you're using up like men on guard for them. Are you worried that they're like gonna rise? And Jon's like, I fucking hope they do. And he's like, what? Why? You don't want to try and talk to them? And Jon's like, I don't think they can, although I don't know. But they were men before they died. And the one that I slew was all about coming after Mormont, like specifically.
It remembered who he was and where to fucking find him.
Yep.
And that is concerning. And that, like, I don't know how much experience everybody else has, but these are things that we should be fucking thinking about. And Jon in this moment is like, fucking Master Aemon would know exactly what the fuck is going on right now. Mm-hmm. Sam would have been terrified, but he would have understood what the fuck I'm trying to do. I'm surrounded by assholes right now. Like, where are my people? Like he doesn't say it, but it is a real moment of being like, fuck, I wish I didn't have to send them away. I could really use them here right now.
And Septon Celador is like, I think it most unwise. And I'm like, why? Like, I really want to know what you're so worried about if you're like, well, if they rise, we have guards on them. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. He is ensuring that it's not going to be a whole thing. So what are you worried about exactly? And it just feels like, well, we just don't like it.
No,
it feels like it's that simple.
We just don't like it. We don't like anything you fucking do. And no amount of good judgment or good reasoning that you provide to us is going to satisfy it, because fundamentally we do not trust you. We don't trust you. And so every decision you make is going to be looked at with extra scrutiny, and we are looking for reasons to have a problem with you at this point. It feels like, you know what I mean? And Jon is fucking tired. He's tired, and he's like, all right, so can we fucking talk about Val now? Are we done with all this other bullshit? Can we talk about the thing that I know y'all all heard about and I know y'all all pissed about? And they're all like, so it's true, you really did release her. And they're all just like, well, what's going to happen when the king finds out? And fucking Jon is like, well, she's going to be back. Please, God, she's going to be back, right? She's going to be back before Stannis, right?
And then I love this. If she lied, if she meets with misadventure, why then you may have a chance to choose a Lord Commander more to your liking. Until such time, I fear you'll still need to suffer me. Oh, Jon.
Yeah.
I hope you're aware of how potentially likely that is.
Yeah. It's coming. It's coming real, real soon. And he tells them straight up, look, I sent her to find Tormund and bring him my offer. My offer is the same one that I made before. They can get food and shelter and peace if they will join our fight. And Marsh is just like, so you're going to let him fucking pass through? Him and all his followers, hundreds and thousands. You're just going to let that happen? And Jon is like, if he's got that many left, fuck yeah. And they are just like in shock. Fucking Septon like does the sign of the cross and shit. Well, not the cross, but whatever their deal is, sign of the star. And Marsh is like, some people might call this treason. These are wildlings. They're savages, raiders, rapers, more beast than man. Now, I'm going to just remind y'all what I said a few minutes ago about the quality of people currently at the wall.
Right?
Sir.
They forget that shit real with the quickness, as they say.
Super fucking fast. And Jon says Tormund is not any of those fucking things. No more than Mance Rayder was any of those things. But even if they were, they're still men. They're living men, human. And winter is fucking coming. I need live people to stand against the fucking dead ones. And then Jon tells them about Mother Mole and how she has taken, from what he's heard, thousands of people have followed her to a place called Hardhome. And they're all like, Hardhome? What? No one goes there on purpose. And then I remembered what a great episode of television that was.
One of the best ever.
That was so good. That episode is so good. Man, when the show was good and when it got it right, it really did.
It killed it.
It really did. But, so yeah, we find out that we get a little history of Hardhome, which sounds just like a fucking disaster.
Yeah, it really sounds like there was like a volcanic eruption or something. Mm-hmm.
Shit sounded like the Doom. Just like really, like nobody knows exactly what happened. There's all kinds of weird myths about it. But yeah, it's like something like 600 years ago, or whatever. And it was like on its way to being a real town. And then it just says 600 years ago when hell swallowed it, people had been carried off into slavery or slaughtered for meat, depending on which version of the story you heard. But some people say that there was a fire so hot that people on the wall saw it and thought the sun it was rising in the north. Like that's how big the fire was. Some people say that ashes rained down for half a year. And finally, traders only, when they made their way up there, they just found nothing but what they called nightmarish devastation where Harmhood had once stood. Just a landscape of charred trees and burned bones. Yeah, that shit does sound like a volcano.
Blood-chilling shrieks echoing from the cave mouths. Excuse me? Because that doesn't sound like a volcano. What the fuck is that?
That sounds like something extra, so...
I have got some questions.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been 600 years, but they still do not want to be around that place.
The fucking Septon is like, salvation can be found only through the seven. This witch has doomed them all to hell. And Marsh is like, and maybe save the wall, because he's really like, good fucking riddance. If that's where they really went, our enemies, this is where he keeps calling them, they're our enemies.
Yep.
Let them pray among the ruins, and if their God carries them off to a better world, fucking fine, bye. Because I don't have any food to feed them in this world. And Jon is like getting so fucking aggravated. He's starting to like flex his fingers on his sword hand. He's getting itchy.
When he spoke, his voice was quiet and cold. Are you so blind? Or is it that you do not wish to see? What do you think will happen when all these enemies are dead? Let me tell you what will happen. The dead will rise again in their hundreds and their thousands, and they will come for us. You have my leave to go. Septon Celador rose gray-faced and sweating, Althel Yarwick stiffly, Bowen Marsh tight-lipped and pale. Thank you for your time, Lord Snow. They left without another word.
Yeah, they're going to be getting something together to kill him post-haste.
It's so, like, he has absolutely ironclad reasons for everything. And they are acting like he's just making these decisions, like, it's baffling to them.
Yeah.
Kiddos, what the fuck are you smoking? What do you hear when
It is.
he talks?
That's the thing, right? What do they hear? Because they're not hearing him. They're hearing something completely different. They are so, their vision is so obscured by their bigotry, by their fear, right?
Mm-hmm.
Their denial. Like, they are aware that the dead are rising, and yet they say it, and then it just poof right out of their head. Like, you have to keep reminding them.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, hey, remember that thing that's happening? Remember that thing where people are dying, and then they're coming back? Like, how many times does someone have to be told that? If they've seen it with their own eyes, a lot of them anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still like, oh, that's a thing that's happening way on the other side of the world. That doesn't really impact us and involve us whatsoever. No, it's at your fucking doorstep. What are you talking about right now?
Mm-hmm.
It is so frustrating to read.
And it's so, like, all I can think with this is about climate change. And how, like, we have all of this data and we know exactly what the fuck is going on, but we try and act like it's such a mystery and who knows why things are, the weather's just weird.
It's so weird,
and
man.
We just have all of this, like, denial.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, you wouldn't believe it in a book.
I mean, you can't
it's,
get a straw now, so we're like, we really got climate change under control. You know, like, my grocery store is not giving out plastic bags anymore. So,
and like,
problem solved.
You know, sure, good, do that, but also
do other things.
That's it. Like, it's just, it is so infuriating, and I can't imagine. I mean, I can't imagine. I don't have to imagine, but it's difficult to comprehend even when I see it in front of my face. Because the fact that we are in this denial about climate change,
we're in denial about so much. It's just a whole sentence, full stop. We are just in denial.
Mm-hmm.
We are in denial about almost every aspect of our lives, how we are living as community. Like, it is unsustainable. None of this is sustainable. Like, Like, I was reading something and it was talking about what's looming in the very, very near future as the generation before me and my generation as well, but primarily boomers and then older Gen X are right behind them. All of these people are aging. We are all aging, and we are about to fucking overrun our crumbling healthcare system. We are not prepared for what's coming. We are not prepared for what's coming. And we know this. We have the data to show us. We have all the information there. Have we done anything to get ready? Nothing at all. Nothing at all. It's going to, and that's just one of the very many things that we are just like not facing reality about. Yeah. And then Jon is just out here trying to be like, I don't know, maybe curb your emissions. I don't know. Maybe fossil fuels.
And they're just like, wow, you want to talk about fossil fuels when immigrants are stealing our jobs? Coming through the wall?
Oh, it's funny because it's true.
Man, oh man.
Mm-hmm. Shit is bleak.
It's bleak though. Ugh, God. Yeah.
So yeah, I am actively concerned for Jon's well-being. I know the mutiny is coming. I know that, he doesn't die. I'm assuming that the book is, I don't know how far this gets into that, but I know it's on the horizon. This build up leading to it though is excruciating.
Yeah.
Because it's just like he's surrounded by people who do not see it for him.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a moment where Alistair gets sent away, which I don't believe happens in the show. And I remember feeling like a little bit of like relief, like, oh, this is going to be a little bit better. And you know what? It was barely better.
Yeah.
It got like one loudmouth out of the paint, but that was really it. It just, you know, and I will say, this is not in defense of these guys, but like Marsh, for example, right? At the beginning, a couple of chapters ago, it felt very much like, okay, well, Marsh is the guy that's got to be pragmatic, right? He's the guy, like you said earlier, he's the steward. He's got to like feed these people and accommodate these people. And he's interested in the numbers and what we have and how long it can last and how am I going to accomplish that, right? So when he's asking about numbers and letting these people in, I'm like, all right. Well, he's got to ask these questions, right? This is part of his job. But at some point, Jon has made himself so clear so many times that this continued like trying to talk Jon out of what he's doing when what Jon is doing, it must be done. I'm not saying that Bo and Marsh can magically make extra food for everybody, but it's less about his concern about being able to provide for everybody, and it's starting to be much more about, well, I only got enough for us.
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely.
You know? I only got enough for us. I don't have enough for all them other folks, you know. And how dare you expect me to care and even like try to come up with a system or rationing or come up with a plan or anything, right? Like, how dare you? How dare you? You know? Yeah. It really is given like build a wall. But they already got a fucking wall.
They got a wall. That wall was built, and they're really thinking that it was built to keep the wildlings out. And it's like, bruh, no, they are the ones, man.
Yeah. The fact that they're still not grasping that in a way that they're internalizing and understanding and able to like open their eyes to the bigger picture is just wild. And these are not, well, I can't speak about the other two guys, but Bo and Marsh is like not new to this.
No.
And he's held his position for a little while. You just expect better, but you don't always get it.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, 2 good chapters.
They are good though, aren't they? I really like these ones.
Yeah.
They are infuriating to read, but that is sort of what makes them work so well.
It's true.
Okay, so I think that's about everything. And I'm just going to say hi to new patrons real quick. We're going to give this a shot. How long? Hey, it worked. It did take a second though. This week we have Tzipora R. Lederman, Lynn Ashmore, and Stacy Mitchell. Thank you guys so much for pledging and becoming part of the community. Appreciate y'all a lot. And I hope that you guys come to the Discord and hang out. We've had some new people join, and it's been really nice to have some new blood in there. And I've added some new channels. I added one for gardening for personal reasons. I'm doing gardening now. Sean, I did a tarot draw today for the first time in months. And I did like a focus on and then avoid. And the focus on was like, you're turning a new page in your life and starting fresh and pursuing some new interests and spiritual stuff, and it's going to be great for you. And then the one that was like, what to avoid, it was like, literally, it's so great that you like to be creative, and we love that for you. But you have got to fucking pick something, girl. You are going all over the place and not focusing enough and not paying attention to detail, and you are going to burn out, and you're going to be mad because nothing comes out that good because you are just scattered. So you got to stop just starting new shit. And I was like,
I feel like that's a real mixed message.
That was really mean spirited. Like, It just felt so, I felt attacked very much.
You can't like congratulate me on all my varied interests and then read me like that the very next card. I mean,
watch me, says Taro. Literally, that's Taro's job, is to be like, look, this is great. This is wonderful. Also, chill the fuck out. Jesus Christ. And that's like the story of my life, though. But anyway, yeah, so I added a gardening channel. But yeah, it's a really fun spot, you guys. You've got like a spoiler channel and then one that's no spoilers. So if you want to talk about Song of Ice and Fire or any other stuff, pretty much everything that I'm currently covering, there are 2 channels, spoilers and none. And I think I've added the emojis to like some of the more active channels and the stuff that I'm currently covering to make it a little bit easier to like find things, because there are a lot of channels, and depending on if you're a patron or not, you won't even be able to see some of these channels. So it may not be as overwhelming for you, but as the creator of the server, I can see all of the channels, and it is a lot.
There's a lot happening.
Yeah. So, but it has been really fun. And definitely recommend, if there's stuff that you're sort of like, what about this though? Go up in there. There's some stuff from the last section. There's like a few things that you didn't pick up on that people have been like, why didn't you tell her? And I'm like, I'm waiting to see if she picks up on it eventually. Like there's some further hints about some things that come later. You know, I don't want to just like tell you. Some things just need a little bit of time to sort of percolate. And if some other thing were to come up in conversation right before we read another chapter, you may be like, oh, wait. So I'm just trying to play it cool, guys. It's some spoiled, not just tell spoils. I don't know. That didn't really work, but you know what I mean.
I understood what you were going for, though, and I appreciate the effort.
Thank you. And then, of course, also, thank you so much to Austin for Austin's Info Corner. Woo! I just really appreciate you, like, every week, just giving me these notes. It's so helpful. Mm-hmm. And what?
I wanted to make sure I don't know if Bernadette listens to this show or not.
I'm not sure, but go ahead.
But just in case she does, I wanted to say thank you. Bernadette sent me she remembered I told a story. She re-listened to an old episode, and I had told a story about these hollow chocolate bunnies that I used to get when I was a little girl, that are like impossible to find anymore. Everything I find is like a solid, which I guess if that's what you're into, you want a solid chocolate bunny, like go nuts. But I don't. I want a hollow bunny so I can crack an ear and then dip it in some peanut butter. And she sent me hollow bunnies because they're very common in Germany, apparently. Like, they just hollow their bunnies. That's how they get down. So I'm super excited. It was so thoughtful, and I wanted to say thank you here. And I'll probably thank her again on the Hunger Games. And I sent her a message as well, but I just wanted to give her a little shout out and say thank you.
Yay! Yeah, guys, check us out in the Hunger Games as well. It has been a really
it's so good, you guys.
Ride.
It's so good. I had no idea. Really, I had no idea these books were going to be as good as they are. I am so surprised, but like so pleasantly surprised. What a treat! Miles
hasn't read past the chapters that I had him on the show for.
Really?
And, yeah, he got completely caught up because his work schedule changed up and stuff. And I was like, you gotta do it. Go back, start again. I don't know, but get it done, man. I need to talk to you about this stuff, because especially Miles has been really vocally pro-Palestine for a decade. So this shit going off right now, and everybody's starting to pay attention. He's cracking his knuckles saying his time has come, and has been really getting invested in reading more history and brushing up on some of the facts. And I was just like, dude, this just feels, it's not relevant in quotes in terms of what you're educating people on. But I feel like it'll just hit in a particular way.
I will tell you this much, and this is something that I've been noticing more and more and more. I don't know, and I think you mentioned to me it could be because it's back in the sort of zeitgeist because of the prequel that came out sort of recently, right? Mm-hmm. But every thread, post, reel, TikTok, whatever, the comments, everybody is like, this is just giving Hunger Games. This is just, oh my God, it's this part, that part. Like, and I have to be really careful because about getting spoiled. So thankfully people are not being very specific, but they are name dropping like a motherfucker. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. And I can fucking see why. Mm-hmm. I can see why.
Indeed. And then, and the last thing I meant to mention this, but Austin's Info Corner, he says at the bottom here, what happened to Hardhome 600 years ago has been debated, but the most popular theory is it was destroyed in a raid by Valyrians who burned the city and took its people as slaves. So that's interesting. I had not heard that one. I just thought it was a fucking...
Yeah, I almost made
volcanic eruption. But
I almost made a joke about dragons when we were talking about it, but then I was like, "Nah, don't. That sounds stupid. Don't say that." But I did almost made a dragon joke.
Listen, just say whatever.
I should
go for it.
I should just start doing that.
Yeah, and there's also like theorizing about whose skull it is that got sent to Dorne because.
Ooh.
It is all over the place. We've got like clearly Frankengregor is in the works, but there are people who are like, do you need a head for Frankengregor? You may not. Maybe it is his fucking head. Who knows? Maybe he just grabs another fucking head and puts it on there.
Oh my God.
Then there are some people who are like, it's the skull of the dwarf, like that she got brought that was clearly not Tyrion, but it's a larger than average skull. And so that's the one that she used because it's just bigger and it's going to be noticeably bigger. And
that's an interesting thought.
Yeah, just sort of different theories here. But I had never considered that maybe Frankengregor doesn't have his original head.
That's horrifying.
And like, I don't know why, but that cracks me up. It's like a Lego, like you just pop one off and put another one on.
And also, like, where like the head that they use, there's no way it's going to be in proportion with the rest of that fucking body.
This is right. So like, unless he just sews extra flesh onto it or something.
Oh my God.
Maybe he puts a real big wig on him.
He's got like that shrunken head from Beetlejuice. Oh my God. You know what I'm talking about? The guy in the office in the chair with the little shrunken head.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
God.
Oh man. So anyway, I just thought I would mention that because I find that whole idea hilarious. But yeah, I'd be interested in hearing y'all's series as well. So come up on that Discord and talk about it. And also I just want to mention last thing, but if you guys are worried about tax time coming, we're like a month out. Go check out Molly Morris, m3virtualaccounting.com. She will talk to you for free. It'll be a real brief meeting. My meeting with her was like 20 minutes. And she is very affordable and she was able to like work with me on what I was able to afford. And it's increased a little bit over time because my income increased. But like, she's just very flexible. And I just really recommend her because she has taken such a weight off my shoulders with dealing with all of my financial stuff.
I need her contact information. I think I'm going to use her this year.
It's m3virtualaccounting.com.
Oh, I was going to just DM her, but you're right. I'll be.
Oh no, you can DM her also.
No, I'll do it the grown-up way.
But yeah, if you guys are even like really, because my stuff is not complicated. It's never been that. It has just been something that you need to stay on top of consistently, and I am notoriously bad at that. So if you just need somebody to just fucking track stuff and categorize it month to month, I mean, it's just great to have somebody doing it and so you don't have to think about it.
Yeah.
And just don't wait until like the 2 days before tax season or tax time, like the due date. Cause that's when everybody waits till, and then she'll be slammed and probably have to pay, like ask for more money. And then you'll have to pay more when you could have just took care of it weeks ago. Now is weeks ago just to illustrate my point. So m3virtualaccounting.com, Molly Morris, A1, and tell her that I sent you. I don't get a commission or anything, but she pays for a tier where I plug her stuff on the show. And I just feel like the plugs I normally do are before the show, and I know people can skip those real easy. So I thought I would just slip it in here where people might not be prepared to skip. Ha ha ha! Gotcha.
That is if they're still listening.
If they're still listening, which you should all the way to the end every time, because there's some gold at the very end of episodes occasionally, every now and then.
Every once in a while, you guys. Oof! I'll tell you what.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you all again so much for listening, for supporting the show. If you're interested in becoming a patron, go to patreon.com/unspoiled. We've just had like some steady signups lately, and it's been really nice to see. So appreciate all of you very much. And until next time, toodaloo, motherfuckers.
Bye, guys.
Joffrey, Cersei, Walder Frey, Meryn Trant, Tywin Lannister.
That was an Unspoiled Network podcast.